And we are back here at the WSOP School of Poker, Clank with Antonio Esfandiari, and Sam Jahan's here as well. Boy, I'll tell you what, there's some people I haven't heard from you for a while. What's going on, big man?
I've just been busy speaking all over, and grateful to be part of the WSOP again.
Well, we're very happy to have you here, and of course, one of the great mindset coaches in poker history. I mean, everybody knows who you are. Tell everybody a little bit about your background in doing mindset coaching and what you're going to be doing here today.
Yeah, in the poker world, my mindset coaching started with Antonio. That was someone who I ran into. I was doing an event at the Rio, and I ran into him at the restroom, and one thing led to another, and he was my first poker client.
Well, that's saying a lot too, because Antonio really had that phase in his career where he lost sight of what he was trying to do at the poker table and was kind of enjoying life a little bit more. What did you do to help him shift that?
I think Antonio, 99% of everything Antonio did is Antonio decided. First, he made the decision that he needs to focus. Number two, it was good. He, like I came into his world and maybe created a little bit more accountability on doing the things that are necessary for him to perform at an optimal level. But it was all about creating discipline in certain areas. And when you create discipline, you're going to get better results. And when you just play it by, hey, you know what, I'm just going to do whatever I want, your results will vary. So he created more consistency in life, which equaled better results on the table.
So how much of that do you see in poker? Obviously, it's a real freewheeling world out there, and there's a lot of temptations. How do you get people to focus and stay disciplined?
It's interesting because in the poker world today, I see so many mindset coaches out there. I remember when I came on the scene, there weren't too many mindset coaches. Today, there's a lot. So I think anytime you have somebody else that can observe you. So when you're an observer, you're not emotionally attached to what's happening. So you see a much more clearer picture. When you're an observee, you're emotionally attached. So a lot of times when you're playing or you're doing certain things, you don't have a clear picture of what you're doing. So having anyone that can observe you, give you tips on how to stay focused, how to come back from a bad beat, how to change your pattern of thinking when the pattern of thinking is negative, it can only help you. It's not going to hurt you. There's a lot of critics out there that it's all BS. I don't know if you can, because it's all bullshit and doesn't work. But end of the day, if it affects a person, they learn one thing, and it affects them in a moment that something's not going right, and they were able to get out of that pattern, then it's all worth it.
How hard is it to tell somebody who's had the success, say like an Antonio or a player at that level, say, you know what, you're screwing up, and and have them take you seriously and take it to heart? Because obviously we all know, everybody in this game has a little bit of an ego, and it's sometimes hard to reach that person. How do you do it?
Well, I think you have to understand what ego really is. Ego is a perception you create to feel better about yourself. So it's an illusion of your belief of yourself. So when I coach anybody, whether it's from the poker world or whether it's the business world or it's an athlete, I don't look at it from that standpoint. My objective is that can I contribute, whether it's 1% or 20%, on having them perform at a better level, or having them more consistent, having them more disciplined. And I come in as an observer. So that's my only motivation. They can have all the ego they want. Some of these guys are so really successful in the financial aspect, but that all comes down to is what you view success as. Somebody could have all the money in the world and they're sick and they don't have their health. So, are they really successful? Well, if you don't have health, you don't have anything. Mm. So it just determines what you think it is. Some people think, well, winning a tournament, I'm successful. There's a lot more in life when when you have to make your comeback, and we've all been through it. I've been through it when losing everything and making a comeback in life. You start realizing that the most important asset that every single person has is not money, it's not their achievements, it's time. And if you spend your time with the people that love you and that you love, that's valuable. Everything else, you're not going to be on your deathbed and saying, hey, remember that hand I played 8 years ago? You're not going to be thinking those things. So as long as people understand, I see in the world of poker, you have players that for 4 or 5 days never left the casino. They never showered. They never did anything. Now, they could be their ROI could be huge, but are they really successful?
Good point.
Because how much time they spent on the tables, they could have been at the beach with their girlfriend, their wife, their family. That's success. So sometimes you got to observe everything and realize success is a lot different than what most people think.
I'm getting your phone number after this is over.
No. Yeah.
Seriously. Well, what are you going to be going over with the students today?
I was asked to be part of this school, which I'm very grateful. And, I used to speak at a similar school before. So today's objective is understanding most people, they either live in the past. Depression, most types of depression happens when you're holding on to the past. Most types of anxiety happens when you're fearful of the future. And what's really sad is that we spend most of our times in a world that's already happened that we can't change, or we spend our time in a world that hasn't happened, it's just in our imagination. And as we do that, the now just goes by. So the objective of today's training is to understand the now, the moment. And when something does happen, not to hold on to that moment. Because if you hold on to that moment, it affects every moment that's going by. And when every moment is going by, your decision-making skills alter. And the reason your decision-making skills are not optimal is because you're holding on to the past. So in poker, that happens a lot. You lose a big pot, and mentally, your focus goes in, man, I can't believe that. I shouldn't have bluffed. And you start talking, you start having these negative thoughts. And so the objective today is how to break those patterns, how to get yourself refocused so you give yourself the best opportunity to win. In poker, you can play your best and still lose. The question is, can you play your best consistently?
Well, there you go. I think everybody's going to be in for something great today for sure. Sam, thank you very much, and we'll look forward to seeing what you've got to offer here today at the WSOP School of Poker.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it, buddy. Pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure.